Hi all, welcome to Rips Vlogs. It's a wonderful morning here in Kamloops. Uh, Looks like it did snow yesterday. So this is the view that I have from the balcony, and it's looking really good. Hope you have watched my last video wherein I explained the documents one should be carrying as an international student from traveling from India to Canada. If you haven't watched that video, I'll be sharing the link for the same in the description, which will help you to get travel ready. In this video, I'll try to take you guys through my journey from India to Canada. Unfortunately, I couldn't film my travel, but I'll try my best to explain the processes that I went through at the airport, at the immigration officers, and even after landing at Vancouver. So I hope this will be helpful for many of you who are planning your travel. But before starting the video, I will move inside because it's freezing cold here outside. I traveled on the 6th of December 2020 from Cochin to Kamloops. So my flights were from Cochin to Delhi. It was Air India, and then from Delhi to Vancouver, it was Air Canada, and from Vancouver to Kamloops, it was again Air Canada. And I had a baggage limit of 46 kgs, two pieces, 23 each. Us checked in baggage, and for cabin it was 7 kg. So I carried two pieces of 23 kgs bag for checking in, and as a cabin bag I carried a 7 kg suitcase and a laptop bag, though I didn't had a laptop as such, but the bag was for mainly carrying the mandatory documents that we have to produce at the airport. um, Considering the situation that we are in, I did reach the airport, Cochin airport, a bit early, around 5 hours early, and the security guys there didn't allow me actually to go inside that early, so I had to wait around 2 hours outside. But yeah, I mean, it's better rather than hurrying at the last minute. To go inside, I had to get the web check-in done. The security guys there will check your web check-in receipt, and then they will check your temperature and then let you in. Once inside the airport, it was pretty straightforward. It was as usual. Just that at the check-in, I went to the counter and I checked in my bags. I thought I can collect my bags at my destination, which is Kamloops. But they said since I have two internal transfers with Air Canada, I'll have to check in the bags again at Delhi. So I mean, I have to collect the bags at Delhi and again check in for Air Canada. So other than that, it was all usual. So after checking in my bags, I after getting the boarding pass, I went to the gate, waited there, and it was around the boarding time. They gave face shields, mask, and a PPE kit for those who were sitting in the middle seat. So I usually like to opt for the window seat, and I just got the mask and the face shield. The journey from Cochin to Delhi was good. Nothing to mention as such there. But yeah, at Delhi airport, the transit time that I had was a bit tight, around 4 hours. So I was a bit worried because I had to go through immigration, security. I had to get the boarding pass. But the Air India flight from Cochin to Delhi was on time, on the scheduled time. So there was no delay. So I reached Delhi in time, and I had to do a bit of runaround to find the international transfers But yeah, there are enough signboards and even other ways you can check with staff there. They will guide you. Once I was there at the queue, I did check with the staff there if I was late for the flight, and they said the whole queue is for the same flight, at the Air Canada ticket counter. So I waited there, and before allowing me into the ticket counter, there was an officer standing there, which we don't see usually. I mean, in the queue, when we stand in the queue to get the boarding pass, we directly go to the counter and check in our bags. But in this case, I think it's because of the COVID situation. There was an officer there who did ask me for the purpose of travel, and what course I'm going to do, and I had to show my final acceptance letter from the university. So after that, he gave the documents and the passport. Then I went to the counter, right? At the counter, I didn't had any issues as such. My the weight for the bags were within the limits. It was around 23 kg, so there was no trouble. But after getting the boarding pass, they did make some mark on the ticket, and asked one of the officers, asked me to follow one of the officers there. I was not sure what was happening. I thought it's because I'm late for the flight and he will take me to the flight. But then when I checked with the officer, he said it's for customs check, and I got a bit worried hearing that because I didn't know what it was. So after getting the boarding pass, he called up the officer called up someone, and he said he will meet me at after the immigration. So I went and stood at the immigration counter. There was a big queue there. At the immigration officer's desk, I mean, he just asked about again the same questions, which course and what's the purpose of travel. So I gave him the final acceptance letter, and that was it. He didn't ask me for any other documents. After once the immigration was done, the other officer was waiting there. He had a list of papers. Then I asked him like, what is this about? And he said it's a random customs check. So he took me to the customs officer's desk, and there the guy there, he just asked me about again what you're traveling for, how long will you be there, etc. It was just 5 to 10 seconds, and that was done. So I was really relieved. I mean, I got worried a bit, but and this is the first time that I had to go through a customs check. So the person said it's they randomly pick people, and we have to go through it, but it was nothing serious. So at this point, I had my boarding pass. I have cleared the immigration. So the next one was security check. Security check. It was okay. I mean, I had all my electronic items in the laptop bag, like mobile adapters, hard disk, and all other things in my laptop bag. So it was easy to pull out everything and put it in the belt. So I didn't have to open my suitcase as such, because in the suitcase I only packed my clothes, so I didn't have to open it. So that will be a good thing that you guys can also follow, because if you have some electronic items in your cabin bag, the suitcase, then you'll have to open that there, and it will be a hassle there. So rather than that, you can keep all your electronic items in your laptop bag, then it's easy to pull out everything. And then yeah, then I went through the security check-in, and after that I had some wait time there. I went to the gate, and in with Air Canada, they didn't give any face shields as such. They did provide a mask for everyone and PPE kit for the people who were traveling in the middle seat. So I did opt for the window seat again. So I got the mask. But I did. I was wearing a N95 mask, so I didn't wear the one that they gave. The in-flight experience from Delhi to Vancouver was pretty good. I mean, it's a long flight. I mean, they were very strict about wearing mask. So you have to always have the mask on, except for while having food or drinks. Otherwise, you are supposed to wear mask all the time. In the flight from Delhi to Vancouver, there isn't anything as such to mention. Um, I mean, usually when you travel abroad towards your destination, they will give a form to fill in your details. But in this case, in Air Canada, they didn't give me any form. I think it's mainly because of the ArriveCan app that we install, and we would have already filled in all the details in the app itself, so that might be the reason. I'm not sure, but I didn't get a form as such. So after landing at the Vancouver airport, it was my first time to Canada, and I wasn't familiar with the Vancouver airport, so I just followed the crowd and the signboards. And the first stop, after landing at the airport was near to a kiosk. So there was a long queue at the kiosk. While standing in the queue, I tried to connect to the Wi-Fi, airport Wi-Fi, because trying to open the ArriveCan app, it was asking for credentials. So I mean, though I had the token number printed and screenshot taken in the mobile, I thought it will be better to keep the app ready in case if the officer wants me to open it and show him. Connecting to the airport Wi-Fi was again straightforward. So once I connected that, I could give the credentials in the ArriveCan app, and I could keep it ready. At the kiosk, there are officers. When it's your turn, they will ask you to go to a particular machine, and in front of that machine you can scan your passport, and there are some questions that it will ask. All the questions were straightforward. I did go through many vlogs before traveling, and I wasn't sure about the questions that the we'll have to answer at the kiosk, but all those questions were pretty straightforward. You can directly you will surely know the answers for those, except for one question wherein it asks for the number of days you're going to stay in Canada. So I mean, we usually know like 1 year course, 2 year course, but we usually doesn't calculate the number of days. So I was here for a 2 year course. So as a I just entered a random number there, like 800 days. But otherwise, I mean, that's the only question where I had to think a bit. But otherwise, every other question was straightforward. Then you have to scan your passport, give your thumb impression, and that's it. And then you get a receipt. Once you have the receipt, you can move out of the kiosk and go to the next line, which is to meet the immigration officer. And there were many people actually who were standing there and filling out forms. So I wasn't sure if I have to fill out those forms, but then when I checked, they said it's because the passport scanning didn't work for them at the kiosk. So that's the reason they were manually filling in all those details in the form. So I didn't have to go through that, luckily. So once it's your turn at the immigration officer's desk, you can go to the officer. The only document that he asked me was the approval letter that I got alongside the visa. So I gave the passport and that approval letter, and then he went through that, and again he asked me the purpose of the travel, and the duration. And after going through some details, he gave me some papers and asked me to go to another officer's desk. So from the immigration officers, it's just around 20 meters to the next desk wherein you will get the study permit. So once I reached there, there were only three members there. Because most of the people were stuck at the immigration officer's desk, either at the kiosk or filling out the forms. At the study permit officer's desk, or the people who issue the study permit, uh, the crowd was very less. Like I said, it was only 2 or 3 people there. Uh, while I was standing waiting for my turn, there was one student who was being questioned. There were so many questions being asked to him. I think it was, I mean, from what I could hear, I think it was because he was not confident enough with his answers. They were asking him where he's going to stay, so he said some location with his cousin, and that location was far from his where he is going to study. So they asked him about how he will commute. Then they asked him about how he will arrange expenses for his stay there, and his tuition fees. So there were many questions asked to him. But when I went to, I mean, it was a different officer for me, so it might depend on the officers as well, I believe. In my case, I mean, when I went to the officer, he did see the bunch of files that I have, documents that I had, and he said to hand over the documents to him. So I gave the old documents to him, and he just went through the first 2 or 3, wherein I had the GIC document, the final letter of acceptance from the university, the approval letter, which we get alongside the visa. So he just went through all those things and asked me to wait. So I waited there for around a minute or so. So he went from his desk, took a printout, and then called me and gave the study permit. So once you get the study permit, it is very important to go through the study permit and make sure all the details are correct. Your name is printed correct, your date of birth is printed correct, your passport number. So all those details you'll have to go through quickly, and make sure that it is all in line. Another important thing to verify in the study permit is under the remarks on the conditions section. Under the remarks or conditions section, they should mention like allowed to work as part of studying. So there should be a remark. If there isn't a remark, and if there is no remark or no conditions mentioned, that means it's blank. Or if they have mentioned you're not allowed to work, then maybe you can get that clarified and corrected there itself with the officer. Because once you come out of that place, and it will be too late by the time you realize that that condition is not mentioned in your study permit, in which case you will have to again mail them the study permit and fill in an application form to get that corrected. So it is better to get those things validated and corrected there itself. Study permit, the remarks and conditions section should have a note saying that you are allowed to work as part of studying. The writings might vary. It wouldn't be the same that I said, but it should mean that you are able to work. Yeah, otherwise you just get it corrected there. Mostly it will say, but I did come across some cases wherein both the remarks and condition sections were blank, which it didn't say, which is not correct. And so that needs to be corrected. So that's the only thing that you have to bear in mind. So once you get your study permit, you are all done, and then they will give that slip that you got from the kiosk. You just carry the slip and walk out, get your luggage. In my case, the luggages were already out, since I had to spend quite a bit of time at the kiosk, immigration officer, and the other desk. The bags were already out. So one bag was kept outside the belt. So if you go to the belt and you keep waiting at the belt, rather than waiting at the belt, you can just go around, and there will be many bags kept outside the belt. So you can just scan through the bags and look for yours. And the other bag in my case was on the belt, so I got both the bags, and then walked out of there. So when you come out of the belt baggage counter, you there will be security guys, police officers standing there. You'll have to show that slip to them, and they'll verify that. Only then they will let you exit, right? So once you come out of there, you don't come out of the airport as such, but that area, then on your left hand side you will see another a belt running, and a single counter will be there. So that's where you have to go for to get the connecting Kamloops flight. So you pick your bags from the belt and then go to this counter. The lady there actually just verified if my bags were correctly mentioned about the Kamloops as destination, and then she asked me to keep the bags in the conveyor belt. And after that I stepped out, and there is a lift where you can go to the first to third floor, I don't remember. Once you are at the floor, you wait there. Basically you can go to the gate. When I reached there, the whole floor was empty, so I did take a quick nap actually, for around half an hour to 45 minutes, because the Kamloops flight was at afternoon 1 o'clock, and I reached there early morning, so I had good enough time. Then later I got fresh and had a coffee and all, and then waited at the gate, right, to Kamloops. So the flight from Vancouver to Kamloops is a 50 minutes flight, and yeah, that's it. And once you're at Kamloops, it's a small airport, so if you have, I mean, do make sure to get someone to pick you up. In my case, my quarantine was arranged with TRU, that's the Thompson's Rivers University. So they did arrange a shuttle, airport shuttle, to pick me up. So I didn't have to wait there at the airport, because the airport is very small, and there won't be any cabs as such. Otherwise you'll have to book someone, and you'll have to wait at the airport for longer time. So if you can arrange a pickup there, then that will be easy, right? I think that was, I think I did cover most of it. I will be coming up with further videos wherein I'll cover my quarantine experience, and then the other processes that I went through here, like getting the SIN number, getting your local mobile number, getting your GIC activator, and many other things that I went through in the next videos. If you have watched the whole video, you would have noticed that none of the officers asked me for the quarantine plan or the supporting letter. But this is my case, and it might also depend on the officers that you meet at the immigration desk and the border. At the border, but so I would suggest it is better to travel to carry all the required or mandatory documents, so you can have a stress-free peaceful journey. So all the required documents, I did make a video as mentioned before, and the link to the same is in the description. You can go through that. Yeah, I hope this video is useful. Do please like and subscribe. Bye.